Hey everybody, and welcome back to another Weather with Sim forecast. And in today's forecast, we're going to be talking about a storm that is currently impacting the United States over the next few days. And these are going to be bringing some pretty big impacts, as not only are we anticipating the potential for more severe weather as we head throughout the rest of the day and even into tomorrow, but I also think we will also see the potential for another storm system once we get into the beginning of next week. And then after that, we should get a pretty long break from severe weather once again as we head into the middle and as well as the end of next week. And then after that, I am expecting the month of April, at least the end of it, to be very active. So we really need to keep an eye on this weather pattern, as we could see severe weather really start to ramp up once we get closer into May. Let's first start off by going over the severe weather pattern as of right now, and you guys can see that we do have a slight risk level 2 out of 5 threat for a few severe thunderstorms across parts there of Kentucky into Tennessee, northern Georgia, northern Alabama, northern Mississippi, eastern parts there of Arkansas, and even a little sliver there of southeast Missouri will all be at risk for severe weather. Damaging winds, large hail, and even a tornado or two will be possible as we head throughout the day today. So something to really keep an eye on closely, as the storm is going to continue to bring some impacts. And then once we get into tomorrow, we're not really looking at anything significant besides maybe a water spout or two off of the coastal areas of North Carolina. Other than that, not really seeing anything crazy, but I would still recommend having a way to receive alerts, as we could definitely see a water spout or two. Let's now talk about some future storms that we may need to watch for as we get into the future. And you guys can see that as we take this forward, one of the storms to watch for will probably be the beginning of next week, where we do have a small area that could see some severe weather. And you guys can see that for Cape, we will have enough Cape to potentially produce maybe a little bit of severe weather across parts there of Missouri, and then those storms will continue into Illinois, and then maybe even continuing into parts there of Ohio with damaging winds, large hail, and even a few tornadoes, all looking possible as we get into Monday and as well as into Tuesday of next week before those storms finally head out. And then I think once we get closer into the end of April, this is when our chances for severe weather will really start to ramp up, and you guys can see that we're likely going to see severe weather all over the place once we get into the end of April, but it's not really looking certain as of right now, since we are still heading a couple weeks out. Let's also talk about the total rainfall as well. Total rainfall pretty plentiful. From now all the way to the end of April, we will likely see anywhere from 1 to 3 inches of rain across much there of the United States, as you guys can see. So we will keep an eye on it very closely, as the storm is really looking to bring the potential for some heavy rain, maybe even some flash flooding. Right now, I'm not really seeing anything crazy, but it is still something to keep an eye on closely, as a storm could still bring some impacts. And then for snowfall, I think some of these storms may also bring some snowfall, as especially the Rocky Mountains over there into New England does have a shot of potentially seeing over a foot of snowfall. So we will need to keep an eye on this storm very closely, as impacts could be possible depending on your location and as well as your elevation. Let's also talk about the jet stream. If we go over to the jet stream, this is what it looks like as we continue to take this forward, because for right now, we're seeing a pretty big dip in the jet stream, as you can see right there, especially across the Ohio Valley and Great Lakes region, where we are seeing that cold air trying to usher in, which may lead to some pretty big impacts here and there. And you guys can see that areas all the way down there into the deep south could definitely experience some cold air, as we will see that cold air starting to push on in here. And then after that heads out, we do start to see another big dip in the jet stream, as that cold air is going to try to interact with that warmer air, as we're going to have warm, moist air surge on in from the Gulf of Mexico, with even some cold air coming in from right behind it. And that's why we could see a few severe thunderstorms once we get into Wednesday. Not Wednesday, I meant to say Monday of next week, which will be as we get into Monday, April But Monday, April 13th. So something to really keep an eye on there. And then after that, we will then start to see some pretty big impacts as well as we get closer to the end of April, as I am expecting this jet stream to really start to ramp up in intensity with more bomb cyclones like that. We could definitely be seeing more in the way of severe weather. But thank you all so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, as we hope that we can really start to grow this channel more and more, as I am planning on doing some upgrades around here. So it would be much appreciated if you guys could all subscribe to the channel, and if you guys would also become members, that would also be much appreciated as well. And I hope you guys all have a great rest of your Thursday out there, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Thank you all so much for watching, and goodbye.